Hello, everyone. Welcome to Your Music Sucks. I'm Brian Beaudoin. That is my good buddy Craig Gass from Howard Stern and Sex and the City, where he ate Miranda's pussy. How are you, Craig? How you doing?
I'm doing good. My face is getting smaller and smaller, I think, in that opening promo.
It is. We wanted to see how many times we could shrink it before you notice. And I had till next week, and producer Tom he picked he thought it was gonna last until it was a dot, like just a dot on the screen. And I said he'll know before that, Tom. He'll know.
You had bets on when I was going to notice that my head was shrinking?
I got bets on everything, Craig.
It's noticeable because my head is so large. I have such a big cranium. I always notice that anytime I see myself on camera, I go, man, look at how big my head is next to everybody else.
Is that a thing? Is that like your go-to thing whenever you see a picture of yourself, is how big your head is?
No, this is embarrassing, and this is somewhere on the internet. But I've always been told, like, man, your head is huge. And I always notice when I put on hats, like hats don't fit me well. I have to get one of the largest size hats. I'm wearing a fitted hat. It's 7 3/4. And I think it only goes up to 8 is like the biggest you can get, I think.
So there's only one other person with a bigger head than you.
Correct. And I remember once back in 2001, I was auditioning to be Howard's sidekick, and I got an invite to an MTV party. And it was I believe, what was it? MTV's 21st birthday party, I think it was, at Hammerstein Ballroom. And all the original VJs were there, including the VJs who were currently there, all the music acts that spanned the history of MTV. I think Culture Club, Billy Idol, to the Chili Peppers, maybe Jane's Addiction, Sum 41, Papa Roach, all these music acts. Anyways, at the end of the show, I'm on stage. I'm hammered. And I notice that there's crowds of people on the sides of the stage. I look behind me. It's all the original VJs are standing behind me, and all these music artists, and they're getting ready to walk out on stage. And I pick up on the fact that when this show ends during this live MTV broadcast, that all these people are going to come out center stage and wave goodbye and say, thank you for supporting MTV for 20 years or 21 years. And I'm hammered. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going out with them. And I think it was the Chili Peppers with the last act. They close out the show, and then everybody goes, hey, everybody walks out. And I walked out with everybody. I am a good 10 feet behind Carson Daly, who's stage right in the center of the stage saying, thank you again. And you can't even see all the people that are on stage. I didn't notice this till later that night. I went home, watched MTV, and I was like, oh shit, all you see is Carson Daly, center stage, and me behind him going. And I went online to Howard Stern, like websites, like fan pages where they had like message boards and shit to see if anybody recognized that I was there. Not only did people recognize that I was there, they were like, God damn, look at fucking Craig Gass's head is 10 times the size of Carson Daly's head. And here's the part about that bothered me. I was 10 feet behind him.
That's crazy. That's depth perception, everybody. That's
yeah.
Bad.
Oh, it was so bad. I was standing.
It wasn't even the angle, huh? It was just you got a big head.
I just got a big head. So did I get self-conscious about that, because I knew how far behind Carson Daly I was, man. That's somewhere on the internet. Somewhere on the internet is a 21st anniversary. We might need to look for it for next week to bring it up and have Tom pull up the visuals so you could see it. But yeah, that 21st
Tom's
anniversary.
So good. I was ready for it to pop up. while you were talking about it. That would have been dope.
Even right here, my head looks bigger than your head.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is all in just where we sit.
Yeah, I think I get self-conscious about it. I don't relate to people who struggle with depression, but I definitely have insecurities that get to me, but I don't relate to people who like talk about being depressed. I'm not a person that goes through almost never go through depressive states, but I know people who
Oh, you're
suffer.
missing out, man. You're missing out. I'm going through.
Why? What's
Talking
going
to
on?
an expert. No, man. This is my seasonal depression. You know what's fucked up? I'm sorry. I usually put the camera on this side, right? And
Mhm.
I'm like, how come I'm looking all fucked up this episode, right? And I keep looking because this is where I usually look on the right side, but I got
Mhm.
the camera on the left side.
Mhm.
And when we do this, it's fucking reversed backwards. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm pointing to the left side of my camera, but my finger's on the right side of the screen.
Hmm.
So it's been a mind fuck for a little while now, Craig. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
that is a
And I'm
mind fuck. I'm noticing that too. All right.
yeah, see? So
So what is seasonal depression?
well, usually people get it like in the winter time, right? When people are cooped up and bored and shit in the winter, people get
Mhm.
like they call it seasonal depression. It's like time of year when you just get depressed. I get it in the springtime, and it happens. So it's like when everybody else is coming out of their seasonal depression, I'm fucking, I'm fucking diving in the deep end, and I got the whole pool to my fucking self, and it's crazy every year. It's like clockwork, and it's part of my ADHD. I have dysthymia, which is a form of depression. I
Hmm.
have so depression comes and goes. That's why people call it seasonal depression. They get it during the season, right?
Mhm.
I am dysthemic. So I always have depression. It's always there. And my baseline, so if everybody just has this normal baseline, every day I start out below the baseline. And I have to like bring myself up to feel regular. And then to have a good day, it's like, then you got to elevate it like a normal person would. So it's like, I'm starting the day at fucking ground zero every day. And
So
then
how
in
do
the
you and
springtime,
when you say you have to elevate it, how do you elevate it?
um, well, that's the thing. The Adderall that I've been taking has fucking helped it out a whole bunch,
Hmm.
like amazingly, right? But there are some days it's just crippling and I can't fucking do anything. Like I don't want to do anything and I feel like shit. And the phone's off and I just want to sulk and I don't want to talk to anybody. I can't leave the house. And it sucks. But I I started to teach myself patterns and different things to do to stop myself from I guess we'll call it a symptom, having this symptom of ADHD.
Okay. And
So
what are those things that you do that you try to put out to prevent it?
uh so like a wake and bake is essential, right? You ever just wake up, listen to music, and get high, Craig? You've done that, right? That has done
Yeah, of
more for my
course.
mental health than fucking anything on the fucking planet, right? But it's recognizing that's the hard part. It's
Mm.
recognizing when you're having a symptom to do something about it. So it took years of me to number one, educate myself as to what ADHD is and why I feel certain ways on certain days. And then it's recognizing that while you're having it. And with the Adderall, I'm able to do that a lot quicker now. And the
Hmm.
Adderall has just kind of rewired my brain to not fix it, but put me in a position to help myself out.
Do you also have high highs with the low lows?
Well, that's the thing. That's kind of one thing that I taught myself how to do, right? It's easy to be depressed. When you're sad, it's easy to feel sadder. It's easy to find sad things. It's easy to be angry. Negative emotions you can magnify in your head by yourself. Happiness, positive thoughts do not. They're reactions, right? Laughter is a reaction to a thing.
Hmm.
So when I do get those highs, yeah, it's fucking off the charts. It'll be like that for a second and then it comes right back down. So, but when I do have those highs, I try to drag it out as long as I fucking can.
By the way, before we get into this, because I
Yes.
noticed the song you sent me lines right up with what must be what seasonal depression is like. but before we get into that, do you every year during your seasonal depression get depressed about the same things, the same topics? When
Dude, it can literally be anything.
hmm,
Anything can set me off. So because of ADD, I have like this whole fucking laundry list of symptoms that I have, right, that are associated with ADHD. And one little thing can trigger a bunch of other little things. If
But
that
but
makes
it
sense.
always
It's like a
happened,
domino effect.
but it tends
Oh
to
no,
happen
this
a lot
I mean
time
this
of year.
happens year round. It
You're
happens
right.
year
Okay.
round, but in the springtime, it's like double.
What is it? Do you know what it is about this time of year that makes it double?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I think like I'm starting to figure it out. I think I'm starting to figure it out because I never did before. I was usually just focused on the depression and how I felt. But now it's like, all right, what's the pattern? And it's like, all right, springtime. Uh that's our slow season. This is where we slow down a little bit, right? In
Stand
comedy
up.
wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, stand up comedy wise, this is our slow season. So I'm not doing as many shows, right? So it's like that when I look at the schedule and it's like, all right, I have less shows.
Mm.
I don't look at it as, oh no, it's springtime, Brian. That's what happens in the spring. You just get less shows. I
Mm.
never looked at it like that. I looked at it as I don't have shows. I suck at comedy. I should quit fucking comedy forever. And I should stop doing it. Because if I was good, I would fucking have shows.
Wow.
And
I
that's the difference.
I get that. For people who don't know, stand-up comedy does really, really well January till April during the winter months when everybody's trapped indoors. People want to get out. And during the summer months when the weather's great, people are like, I don't want to be inside a comedy club. I want to be outside and enjoying the weather. So
Yeah.
comedy
So even when you
everywhere.
do have shows, sometimes they just fucking suck.
Yeah.
You know, because the comedy competition doubles.
Yeah.
But the whole
Yeah.
picture thing we were talking about before, I have rejective sensitive dysphoria, which is rejection, right? Like I always feel people fucking hate me, that I'm being rejected, that I'm not wanted. I always feel that. That is a constant fucking thing. I need reassurance, and it's like it's a whole fucking thing. So the other day, my buddy Nate took my fucking picture, right? And so
Mhm.
it's like, all right, I'm golfing. We're golfing. It's a great fucking day. I'm feeling fucking good, right? I'm blasting fucking Phil Collins, right? Blasting. We're having a fucking time and a half, right? And then Nate, my buddy Nate and photography. He takes pictures. They're fucking great pictures. He took a picture of me, and I was doing like this pose with my hands up. And at the time I took the picture, I'm like, this is fucking badass, right? And he sent me the fucking picture, and I look like the fucking ocean. You can see every goddamn ripple in my body. Like it's a terrible, terrible picture. And first thing I said was, it looks like fucking shit. But that picture fucking destroyed the entire day. Like
Hmm.
destroyed it. Like I went back to ground zero and had to build back up.
Hmm.
And it's
I
like
get that.
a snowball effect. It's a snowball effect. It's like you see the picture and it's like, oh, that looks like shit. And then it's like you don't think like I don't think about like, oh, the 100 fucking pounds that I fucking lost, and I'm
Mhm.
wearing a shirt that's like a size smaller that I would
Mhm.
never fit in a year ago. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, all right, so that has to play in it, and it's like this is what I have to do to like build myself back up. But when I just see big fat fuck Brian, I fucking just think, oh, nothing changed, you know, and that snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Even though in that photo you feel amazing looking at the
Even
photo
though,
threw
yeah,
you off. Wow.
yeah, looking at that photo fucking crushed me.
Well, it's the perfect time to segue into what you sent me. So the whole point of Your Music Sucks is Brian and I are best friends. We love each other. We love hanging out with each other. We have great times together, hanging out at football games, hanging out on the road, hanging out doing comedy shows. The only thing we don't see eye to eye on is music. So once a week, we send each other a song and turn each other on to what we like. You sent me these two songs, by the way, could not be more opposite in personality. You sent me a
I
Phil
didn't know
Collins
if
song.
I wanted to wait to see what you sent before. I mean, I was sending this regardless, but I didn't want to send this first.
I will go first. I'll go first with the Phil Collins song. And by the way, the first thing I thought of when I got this Phil Collins song is Brian okay? That was the first thing I thought of. So it's funny we get into this conversation and we're just talking about seasonal depression because that was my biggest concern when I got this. I don't know. I really, honest to God, don't know that I'd ever heard this song before, but I've listened to it
You've never
5 times.
fucking heard this song before?
Well, the first time I heard it, I was like, what the fuck? How have I never heard this song before? And I've heard it 5 times since. I keep playing it over and over and over again. And I'm like, you know what? I think I have heard this chorus before, but I am definitely not that familiar with the song.
Oh man.
So I'm guessing, based on what I saw when I looked it up, this is from a Disney movie. This is from a Tarzan movie, right?
Fuck yeah, this is from Tarzan. Phil Collins did the Tarzan soundtrack back in, I think it was in like 99, whenever the fuck it was. And he fucking owned that shit. It's like the best soundtrack.
99 was some prime cocaine years for me. I had just moved to New York. I was living with Mitch Hedberg. No, I was already moved out of Mitch's by 99. Ooh, you know, I might have had my own place by 99, but I was partying a lot in 99. So I was missing anything that was on TV or in film. I was spending a lot of late nights in comedy clubs in New York. So I do not know this song, although I really believe the more I hear it that I may have heard the chorus before. So You'll Be in My Heart is the song. Was this nominated for like a Oscar?
It had to have been. This song is tremendous.
All right, so it starts off as a standard Phil Collins song. I saw Phil Collins a few years ago in Vegas. He was amazing. I had no expectations. I was blown away by how incredible he was. Yeah, my ex loved him and said, like, I rattled off a bunch of stuff that was going on in Vegas while we were going to go visit. And I mentioned Phil Collins at the end. She was like, Phil Collins is my bucket list. And I was like, Phil Collins, really? So we ended up going to Phil Collins, and he walks out with a cane, and the band is behind a curtain for the first song. And he walks out with the cane, just him.
Do the Willy Wonka thing? Did you do the Willy Wonka thing?
You thought he was going to. You honestly, I swear to God, I thought the same thing, that he was going to come out and do the Willy Wonka thing and do a flip and do like some fucking calisthenics and be like, it's me. But no, he came out and stayed brittle the whole show. He comes out with a cane, sits down, and just starts singing Take a Look at Me Now. And it's like,
oh shit.
Like it was brutal but beautiful and poetic and bittersweet. It was, and from that point on, and he had a great sense of humor during the show. He had a lot of personality. It was amazing. So this song starts out in such a classic Phil Collins way, in that his lyrics are just, you always end up on your period when you listen to Phil Collins. You always end up just like getting emotional. He starts out with, come stop your crying. It'll be all right. Just take my hand and hold it tight. And it goes on and on until the chorus, which is, 'cause you'll be in my heart. You'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. It's classic Phil Collins.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
You know what? I would probably, even though I feel like I don't think I heard this song before, and the more I hear it, I feel like maybe I have. I'm clearly confused. I'll give it a 5 out of 5.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fucking. This song's a fucking banger. I've been listening to some Phil Collins like a motherfucker. I saw this shirt online, and yes.
I was gonna say, have you been listening to it a lot lately because you're going through seasonal depression? Is that why you?
No, not at all. Not one bit.
That's hilarious.
No, I just love Phil. I love Phil Collins. I love Phil Collins.
What was the T-shirt? You said you saw a T-shirt, and what was the T-shirt?
Well, the T-shirt says, "Gonna get high and listen to Phil Collins," which is what I do. Right? It's like, you ever see a shirt that just speaks to you? Like literally, like you ever just wake up one day and say, I'm gonna get high and listen to Phil Collins, and then you're getting high listening to Phil Collins, and there's a fucking T-shirt that says it. Maybe, dude, that's the fucking cookies right there. That's cookies in action. Because I woke up and said that shit out loud, and then I bought the fucking shirt. Shit's working, cookies. But yeah, that shit was. But yeah, so I got that shirt. But anyway, loving some Phil Collins, and the other day I was golfing with my buddy Jeremy, and Jeremy's a big Phil Collins fan too. We were blasting everything, going ham on Phil Collins. And then today I picked my son up from school, right? And I'm like, how was your day? And he had a rough day at school, right? Like normal kid stuff, you know, like kid didn't want to play with him at recess. The teacher yelled at the fucking class. The one friend that he was going to play with at recess was in trouble. So like to him, it's like the end of the world, right? And I felt bad that he had a bad day. And this song just reminds me of my son. That's all. Just a song.
Wow.
And last night when I was on the way to the show, I heard this song and cried like a bitch. On the way to a fucking comedy show. That was a seasonal
Wow.
depression. But yeah, today this song just reminds me of my fucking son. So that's why I sent it. My
You know
son
what I
that
do?
ran in before the goddamn show we recorded.
I do got to point out 2 years ago, I did some shows in Charlotte in December of 2015. Not 2015, 2019. And I hit 15 years of sobriety when I was in Charlotte. So on the day that I hit the 15 years of sobriety, I go to a meeting in Charlotte. I look up a meeting and I go to this meeting, and the meeting was in this black neighborhood. I'm in this black church to recognize my 15 years of sobriety. And I'm the only white guy in this church. And I noticed that when everybody was looking at me, they were specifically looking at me from here. They were looking at my shirt like, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And then I looked down and I was like, oh man, I'm the only white guy in this room. And I'm wearing a Phil Collins t-shirt. And it's not just a Phil Collins t-shirt. That I loved his concert in Vegas so much that I bought this t-shirt that was like a self-portrait. It was like a little stick figure of like Phil Collins holding some drumsticks up with just a little one piece of hair, just a curly piece of hair off the top of his head. It was the silliest. I was the whitest guy in the neighborhood. And but
fucking
man,
crack ass cracker in a goddamn Phil Collins t-shirt.
But you know what? When I said that I was sober 15 years, every single person in that church got up in line to hug me. Everybody gave me a hug and say, congratulations on 15 years.
That must have been pre-COVID. That was pre-COVID.
It was like 2 months before COVID. It was like 2 months before COVID. Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, so I sent you the most opposite Phil Collins song I could possibly send you. And I have to believe you know this song because this song became hot when you were in high school, I'm guessing.
Yeah, man, 99. I would listen to this and Phil Collins on the same day.
I sent you Limp Bizkit Break Stuff.
Yes, you did. And I got to say, Craig, what a blast from the past. I used to listen to a bunch of Limp Bizkit. I love $3 Bill, y'all. As a matter of fact, I love Limp Bizkit so much, I thought they were the ones that wrote Faith. I didn't know George Michael wrote Faith. I thought Fred Durst wrote Faith. I thought he was the one that had to have faith. But yeah, I was a big Bizkit head back in the day.
So what did you, when this song first came out, did you like it right away?
I did, because every day I woke up like I didn't want to wake up, want to break stuff, not giving a fuck.
So what do you think of it 20 years later? How does it hold up?
It holds up, man. When I put it on today, I was fucking jamming out as hard as I was today as I was fucking back in the day. And and it's funny because I was just talking about Limp Bizkit last night at Comics. I was talking to Andy, the bouncer there, and he's about 6'5", 6'7", just a big brute bald dude, and he loves Limp Bizkit. And last Thursday they were at Mohegan, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, you want to see a video?" And I'm like, "Yeah, right." And he's showing me a video of Limp Bizkit. I'm like, "Yeah, you were at the Limp Bizkit show." He's like, "Keep watching." Then you see the fucking mosh pit at the Limp Bizkit show. You see everybody just fucking each other up, right? Going ape shit at Mohegan Sun, Limp Bizkit. And then you see my buddy Andy standing in the middle of this, just shrugging people off like it's nothing. Like
really?
Like oh yeah. And then like every once in a while it just push somebody. It was the most amazing video I've ever seen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, before I get into why I sent it to you, on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give this song?
Oh, 5. Absolutely.
A 5?
5. Fuck yeah, man. This brought me back. And then watching the video too, that brought me back. Like, I'm like, oh, I forgot Snoop was in this. I forgot Dr. Dre was in this. I'm like, oh shit, it's fucking Jonathan Davis from Korn. Like, and I forgot how like big Limp Bizkit was back then. You know, it was fucking cool.
Well, the reason I sent it to you is because a comedian friend of mine, Rich Aronovich, posted, and I haven't even talked to him to find out exactly how this happened.
What a name, too, by the way. Rich Aronovich. Sounds like he should be fucking fighting somebody.
Rich Aronovich. I think he's related to Jessica Kirson, the comedian, another great comedian. I always see them posting videos together, and I could swear they're related, like cousins or something. I could be wrong
Should have
about
been a
that.
hockey player.
Yeah. Aronovich is a great hockey name, but Rich posted some weird video of him on stage in like a tutu dancing to break stuff at Madison Square Garden. I don't know if they sold it out, but Limp Bizkit did a show at Madison Square Garden that looked packed sometime last week. And I was so blown away by it because there was a long period of time here for the last 10, 15 years where Limp Bizkit somehow fell into the uncool category amongst cool people. And they just sat it out, waited their turn, came back, and it seems like they're coming back strong. And they've embraced the whole "we suck" thing.
Yeah, that's their fucking album. Still sucks.
Still sucks. That's right. And so they've been out doing this Still Sucks tour, and they just leaned into it, which is, as a comedian, you just know that's beautiful, just to lean into something and not try to run away from it, but just own it and own the idea.
Be Limp Bizkit, you know? Be
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit.
100%, man. I was just having this conversation last night about how the singer of Warrant, Cherry Pie, all that stuff, the singer of Warrant ended up essentially killing himself. He drank himself to death because he felt so terrible about being the guy that wrote the Cherry Pie song. And I just always thought, if that guy would have just embraced it and just been like, hey, man, I'm the Cherry Pie guy. What are you gonna do?
I'm the Cherry Pie guy.
Yeah, just lean into it instead of like feeling shame because a segment of the population that's young and buying music today thinks that what you did was not cool. Like, give it time, and and that's what Limp Bizkit is doing right now. They're leaning into it. I thought it was really cool. That's why I sent you the song. I had no idea you were going to send me a Phil Collin song, but
I don't know. I think it's a Phil Collin song either.
Well, seasonal depression, man. My heart goes out to you, man.
Yeah. If you want to see me cry, you can go to the Brian Bowden comedian page on Facebook. It's probably it's tagged in this, but yeah, I put it's in my reels. There's a video of me crying on the way to the show to Phil Collins, and just how
listening
hard
to Phil
he went
Collins?
on the tires. Yeah, dude, I fucking everything Phil Collins does is fucking great.
Well, make sure to like and subscribe this channel. And Brian, where do people find you to go see you cry?
You can go to IllinoisCockburn.com.
Illinois Cockburn, just as it sounds. IllinoisCockburn.com. My dates are at getgas.com. Getgas with 2 S's.com. And we've just confirmed our first date of 2022 that Brian and I are going to be doing a live Your Music Sucks in the United States. We're going to have at least one other one, and we'll be announcing that shortly. And Brian, your music doesn't suck, and seasonal depression definitely sucks.
Seasonal depression, just every day is just one of those days when you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked and everybody sucks.
Perfect.
You don't know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. I did that without the fucking lyrics on the screen too. Your music sucks.